This is Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker. Revolution. On Tuesday, on this past Tuesday, I believe it was December 19th, 53-year-old Terry Wayne MIllender and his wife, 57-year-old Brenda MIllender, they were convicted on this past coming Monday of a $2 million Ponzi scheme, fraud scheme, not a Ponzi scheme, but it was a fraud scheme, according to the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. See, Terry MIllender, he was the senior pastor of Victorious Life Church in Alexandria, Virginia. And what they said that they did, and I'm just going to go ahead, let me just read through it and we can go through it. Prosecutors said the couple recruited investors for companies. They said they provided small loans to poor people in developing countries, and they helped broker Nigerian oil deals. Pay attention to that. Prosecutors also said the Millenders used investor money to pay for golf trips, a birthday party, and to help purchase a $1.75 million home. The Millenders operated a company called Micro Enterprise Management Group, a Virginia company that alleged to help poor people in developing countries. They gave them by providing short-term loans to start or expand existing businesses by working with a network of established microfinance institutions. The Millenders were also founding members of this MEG and Wells and served as chief operating officer. They recruited investors, emphasizing that it's a Christian mission to, like we said, help the poor. And, they guaranteed rates of return, assuring investors that the loans and principals were safe and backed by the assets of the MG, according to the United States Attorney's Office. The indictment claims that some investors gave the Millenders sums totaling $40,000, $50,000, $84,000, and here's the kicker, $400,000. Now, we already said what they came through and what they did, and just so that you know, they have been convicted. So we could, if I really had the music rights, I would sit up there and have my Queen drop right now, and I'll just go ahead and just do it. Do-do-dum. Dum, dum. Another one bites the dust. Dum. Yes. Another one went down and another went down. Another one of these scumbaggies scamming preachers bites the dust. Beautiful when that happens. Why? People think that it's a bad thing to get excited about when preachers, they misinterpret my excitement and my enthusiasm when preachers go down. The reason why I'm enthused about it is because there's not another grandmother that feels like they're going to be convicted of God for not giving them their Social Security check. There's not going to be another person that is so gullible to give them $400,000 so that they can buy their Bentley or their new house or whatever. Interesting, a little bit about this. The reporting I got this news story from is from the AP, the Associated Press, and Fox 5 DC. I want to make sure I give these informations out so that you can go ahead and you can look up the information on yourself, and you can go ahead and do that. All right. So I wanted to deal with this situation first because I wanted to put this thing out. People, be careful of where you put your money and how you invest your money. If you feel that there's a preacher asking you to give them money to invest in it, be very leery of it. Also, be very leery of pastors and preachers who want you to invest and support their multi-level marketing schemes. All this ties together. You have some preachers sitting up there forcing their congregations to support their Amway, or whatever you want to call it, ACN, whatever. They want you to support them in their endeavors. And they're going to sit up there and tell you that you can get in on it and you can make money. I'm going to break this down for a second, and then I'm going to talk about the next thing about this. See, I got it caught up in some, multi-level marketing schemes back in the day. I wasn't too bright about it. But when I was in this particular organization, I'm not going to name it. When I was in this particular organization, or one of these organizations, this one that I was in sat up there, had nothing but full of preachers. And I've talked about this on my old radio show before. I'll talk a little bit about it now. They basically, if you look at I went to one of their meetings and conventions one time, and it reminded me of a charismatic church service. The only thing that it didn't have was basically they had music, but they didn't have a full band, right? But everything else, from the way that the people got up on the podium, the way that they talked to you, the way that they preached at you, you honestly felt like you were in a charismatic church service. See, there are some similarities there to where they talk a lot like, these pastors, these charismatic pastors and everything like that. But once I got to meet some of the people, come to find out, a lot of the people were pastors, preachers. They were doing this to help supplement their ministry. You need to be careful, need to be leery of said situations. Because these multi-level marketings, let me break it down for you. See, the way multi-level marketing situations go, and I'll talk more about the MIllender stuff in a second. I just wanted to get this out here. The way that stuff goes is you have somebody, it's a pyramid scheme, basically. You have somebody being fed by people underneath them, and they get fed, and they feed somebody else above them, and then ultimately to the top, to where you get the top folk, and they get fed off of everybody. And they're making exponential money while everyone else is feeding them to go up to that way. But you're hoping and praying that you go up to a point where you can get and reap those benefits if you work hard at it. But it's just like a pyramid. You got to understand pyramid, people. The shape of a pyramid goes like this. So there's a lot of people at the bottom. Only a few towards the top. And the closer you get to the top, there's only that one person, and that's typically the head of that company, who is, who becomes the head of that company. You feeling what I'm saying? Now check it. Check it how it works in a church, though. Say, for instance, your pastor's selling Amway products. I'll just pick the Amway because Amway is probably the most popular of the MLMs. Okay. So your pastor gets involved with selling Amway. So now, in the back of the church, he got the Amway table. And y'all sitting up here buying stuff off the Amway table. In the course of that, he's telling some of y'all, hey, if you join up with me and you sell some Amway too, you can make a lot of money, right? So now there's a good chunk of people. Say that church is 200 people, right? 200 people, 200 person congregation. Out of that 200 folk, 50 people may want to get involved. Now I'm talking about adults, not kids. May want to get involved and may pour into that pastor. But the way multi-level marketing works is you should only get involved with it if you have another 200 people that's underneath you in your own personal sphere of influence. All right? And most of the church folk ain't got it like that. But the pastor does, because he sit up there preaching to a congregation of 200 folk. So they buying the products, and now he's got them to come in on the investment stuff, and he's building himself up. But y'all sitting up here with product that's that's going to be stuck in your garage, and you're going to be owing the company because you couldn't sell the product, you couldn't get people up underneath you. So now you're going to be out with a whole garage full of Amway stuff. And in order to stay with it, you got to keep buying the Amway stuff. So now your garage gets full. You can't unload your product. There are so many stories about people just having garages full of crap. Whether it's Amway, whether it's juice powder, whether it's coffee, whether it's tea, whatever the multi-level product is, that's what they stuck with in their garages. You see what I'm saying? So be leery if you have a pastor that is wrapped up in multi-level marketing. Also be leery, because this is the new one. Right? This is the new one. The new one is pastors are going to be looking to get folk to invest in cryptocurrencies. I see them on Facebook often, Now, at this level, if you haven't heard anything about Bitcoin, it seems to be the rage, and other cryptocurrencies. But what you're going to start finding out is that pastors are going to try to jump on this bandwagon and going to talk about how much money they're making off of Bitcoin and all this other stuff, and that the people need to get money, get the money off the Bitcoin. But then what you're going to end up is with a MIllender, with a Terry MIllender, because you're going to invest in something that you have no idea of what it is that you're investing in. You don't have a clue on what you're investing in. They said that the MIllender said that they told them that they had some stocks and stuff and all this other stuff in Nigeria with the oil bonds. See, the oil bonds is so 2000s. We already know of another preacher's kid that got involved with that. Think it was Michael Winans' kid or Marvin Winans' kid. One of those Winans is sitting at least served a couple years. I think this was 2 or 3 years ago. He might be out of prison now, but he's serving some time, or served some time, for selling church folk fraudulent oil bonds. The MIllender's doing the same thing. Fraudulent oil bonds. And now they sitting up there waiting to march to see how long they're going to be in jail and how much restitution they're going to have to pay. So that's what's going on there. So now know this. If you want to know stuff about cryptocurrency, I'm not stopping you from doing that. I'm not stopping you from getting that Bitcoin or whatever. All I'm saying is this. Is if your pastor is telling you to do it, first of all, your pastor is not your financial advisor. Okay? Take the time to do the research yourself. And then what you'll find out is that if you want to invest in Bitcoin, You don't need your pastor to invest it for you. You can do it yourself. You feeling what I'm saying? So take the time to do the research, to do the due diligence on your own, because ultimately, whether it gets you a lot of money or it falls, let it be on you. Let that problem be on you, but don't let it be that your pastor sat up there and stole your money, because that's the next one. Because just like how this guy up in New York a couple weeks ago got arrested for selling folk fake Bitcoin, basically Chuck E. Cheese tokens, but selling them fake Bitcoin, pastors going to be doing that stuff to you too. And it's going to be harder to trace because you don't know what a Bitcoin is. You don't even know what the stuff is going to be and how it's going to work for you, because he's going to tell you that. That's what I'm saying. Take the time. If you want to look into that, look into it on your own. Don't look into it and give your money to your pastor to do it. And that's not just your pastor, but that's almost anybody. Because if you want to do it, you can do it for yourself. You could do it on an app on your phone. You could buy Bitcoin on your phone through an app. It is what it is. All right. So please keep that in mind. All right. Revolution.